In this video, I'm gonna mention, is everything true in the Bible? You know, the Bible, the holy book? Alright, I'm gonna let y'all know. The current Bible, the current Bible that the churches use is not even the book that belongs to any of the churches. The churches of the world systems work for the governments of the world, the people that run this society, and try to keep a lot of people in delusion and deception. So anyway, the Bible is not originally, it doesn't originally belong to the Christians or any modern day religions. The Bible is originally the book of the chosen nation, the Israelites, what they call today as black people or African Americans. Yeah. Now, the Bible in itself originally did come from heaven. The origin of the Bible, like originally from stone and then put on paper. You know what I'm saying? Transfer and all that. The Dead Sea Scrolls, all of that. Anyway, the Bible, the current Bible, which is 66 books currently, originally had more books within the Bible that was taken out. And the current 66 books of the Bible has been tampered with. There's still truth in the Bible, but there's a lot of lies mixed together with the truth because they changed some words. Some words have been tampered with, you know what I'm saying? For example, they say you cannot see God and live. But actually, you can see God and live. Remember, God is the dark. Once you realize that, you've seen Him. See? So some things in the Bible aren't true. But there's still truth in there. Some have been tampered with, some hasn't. So the only way to know what's true or not, you as an individual have to read the Bible yourself, as an individual. And just read it yourself, the words. Because even though the Bible has been tampered with, not all of it has been. It's up to you to find those gold nuggets in that book if you want to read the Bible. Of course, there's many ways to get truth too. But the most purest way is to listen to the source within yourself. That's only if you're connected to it. Because that's the only way you'll get the truth unfiltered, unadulterated, untampered with. The pure truth. Is you must know yourself. That's the best way I can say. So anyone who wants to read the Bible, to see what's true or not, that you must do that yourself. You can't go by what the people say, what's in the Bible. You must look at what the Bible say about self. And you as an individual must come to the conclusion what's been tampered with or not. So that's all I would say. Is the Bible true? Originally when it was made, it was true. But over the generations, it's been tampered with. Yeah. So now the current Bible has lies and truth in it. It's up to you to know what it is or not, That's up to you, man. That's all I can say. Because you can get the truth in many ways too. But the Bible is, I would say this, the Bible is literally no ordinary book. It's the oldest book in the world, and is where, it was originally untampered with. But why did the Creator allow the Bible to be tampered with? Because He knew it wouldn't matter if the mortals tamper with the Bible or not. Because the ones who are meant to know the truth, but just know the truth regardless, it doesn't matter. That's why He allowed the Bible to be tampered with, because it will make no difference. That's why there's a saying in the Bible somewhere saying, whoever adds and takes from these words of the prophecy of the book, I will add, the plagues that's written in this book to them. They will be affected. They'll be, tortured by these plagues that's written in these books. And I'll also take away their names out of the book of life. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand, the Bible even mentioned whoever adds and takes. See, the Bible even knew that it would be tampered with itself. So, yeah. Like I said, it was just allowed to be because, it's part of the universal story. There are people who are allowed to do certain things, and there are people who are allowed to not do certain things. It goes both ways. So like I said, for example, like I said, one of the lies. Let's see, you can't see God and live. See, that's a lie. Because I seen God and I'm still alive. See, what else? Be still and know I am God. Remember that in the Bible? That's true. Because I am God. Now what else? What else is true? Oh yeah. I make alive. Okay, God said this. I make alive. I kill. I wound. I heal. I alone do all these things. There's no power with me. I am the power. Yep, that's true. See? I'm just mentioning things in the Bible that's true and that's a false. Yeah. So let me see what else. Let's see here. I created the light and formed darkness. That's a lie. Well, that's half true because He did create a light. He didn't form darkness because He is the dark. So he formed reality, from the dark. So, which is, because see, you gotta understand the dark is formless. The dark is the source that all forms, all existence come from. So, I just want to correct it. Yeah, I want to correct that saying. Okay, what else? There is no hell. The story of the rich man has been tampered with, or shall I say, Yahweh Shai at the time was just using the culture and beliefs at that time. Just basically he spoke in baby language to make it easy for people to comprehend in parables. So hell is not real, like how they make it out to be in the Bible, how they try to sound like. He only spoke as a parable of the culture. Because see, there are people that you have to speak on their level in order to comprehend. So you have to speak about cultures that they're used to hearing, even if it's not true. Yeah, that's why in the Bible it also says dying is going to sleep, ceasing to exist. For example, in the Bible, it mentions the rich man in hell. Hell is not real, because it said in the Bible also that all those who are asleep, both good and bad, in the grave will be woken up. Those to good, and those who did bad to destruction. See what I'm saying? Now that's true. It's saying death is no consciousness, while the parable of the rich man acts like there's afterlife. But yeah, that's not true. Because then if you say it's true, then what about the other written that says, okay, in the Bible it also says, the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have any more reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. See, they have no conscience. See, so why does it sound like that the Bible contradicts itself? Because the Bible has been tampered with. That's why. But what does it talk about more? Notice in many verses it's talking about death ceasing to exist, while in some verses it talks about there being an afterlife. Or rather, people misinterpret those words and make it, and they teach that means afterlife. Nope, it doesn't. So yeah, so basically, dying is ceasing to exist. That's the truth. The Bible sounds like it contradicts itself because the Bible has been tampered with, and another thing is that it's spiritually in tune. So not everybody's meant to understand that too. It goes both ways. So they try their best to complicate, people from understanding the Bible, the enemies, right? But there are people who are just meant to know the truth regardless. Yeah, it's like I said in my past video. So yeah, there are people who are meant to know the truth. The Bible is just another example of the truth. The Bible is the light in a physical book form. Yeah, it's basically the word, the son of the source in book form. You know what I'm saying? But it's the current Bible is altered though. So yeah. To understand that, people, so in order to know the truth, you gotta study things yourself. You gotta learn things yourself. You can't go along with what you were taught growing up. You gotta get out of the lies of this society and find the truth yourself. Because you can't know the truth unless you know it yourself. That's all I can say. So yeah. Like I said, the only way to know the truth fully with no tamper with or no corruption is within yourself. And the self within the self will lead you to know what's true or false in the Bible. Since the Bible originally came from heaven anyway. When the Bible first came in book form on earth, it was first written on stone tablets. You know how it goes. So yeah, the origin of the Bible. So yeah. And the Bible was written originally in Hebrew and Greek. The New Testament's in Greek. The Old Testament's in Hebrew. So yeah. Over time, like I said, it's been tampered with as they transfer it to different languages. So that's why I say don't believe everything in the Bible. Trust some things in the Bible, but not everything. Yeah. There's a reason why the Bible sounds like contradicts itself. It's not just because there's people who don't understand the Bible, because it's spiritual. It's also because it's been tampered with too to complicate it. So only you alone can know the truth. So hey, if you're not chosen, you won't even understand what I'm talking about. So yeah. My message is for those who are meant to understand. Those who are not meant to understand will keep looking like I'm crazy. So hey, it's supposed to be that way. So like I said, yep. But since I don't care about people who are not meant to understand, that's why I don't care. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the insults, Yeah, because all you're doing is entertaining me. I'm entertained either way. I never get bored because I'm at peace. Boredness is only for those who are not at peace, Anyway, Let's see if what else? What else should I say in this video before I leave? Oh yeah, the churches of the world system, Christianities, Jehovah's Witness, Muslim, Seventh-day Adventists, all the churches, all the religions, they're all liars. So you can't know the complete truth that hasn't been tampered with by going to these buildings, these churches, these synagogues. You can only learn the truth that's not been tampered with by yourself. If you rely on the world system, population, the churches, and all that work for the governments of the world and public places, then you will get some lies with truth. You will never get the truth by itself. Yeah. In order to know the unadulterated truth with no tamper with no lies, you must find the truth yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? How dumb are y'all? Or how smart are y'all? That's all I can say. Can you comprehend the words I'm saying? Are you intelligent or are you slow? Do you go by what other people teach you, or do you seek the truth yourself? All I can say in this video is that to know the truth with no lies attached, to know the truth by itself with no lies at all, you have to seek it yourself. That's all I can say in this video. Like I said, we men are God Himself, experiencing Himself on this realm. So just be aware of that. But will every man be aware of that? No. Majority of men are going to be brainwashed by their churches, by society, what they see on TV. You know, there's some stuff that's true on TV, while there's some stuff that's not true on TV. There's some stuff that's true in culture, while there's some stuff that's not true in culture. But in order to know the unadulterated truth by itself, with no lies attached, you have to think for yourself. You have to be a critical thinker. That's the only way you can come to the truth, like with no lies attached. That's all I can say. And there are people who are not meant to be deceived. Like for example, I'm one of the people who know the truth by itself. This is why I can't be manipulated by anything of this world system. Exactly. Yeah. Christianity in general are liars. Jehovah's Witnesses are liars. Seventh-day Adventists are liars. Muslims are liars. There's so many religions, I'm not going to name them all. All I can say, Catholics are liars. Oh yeah, Catholic is also the origin of all the religions which lie. Catholics is the origin of all false religion. Yeah, all teachers, all false teachers. So, yeah. I'm simply here to enlighten people, to wake them up. In order to know the truth, you have to think for yourself. That's all I can say. You have to be aware. Don't get me wrong, there are gurus, there are prophets, there are people out there who do exist, who are all about the truth by itself with no lies attached, but they're just extremely rare. Yeah, there are people out there who are aware and who would tell you not anything but the truth. They exist. Like I said, they're just 1% of the population. They're very, very rare among the population on Earth, and they have nothing to do with the world system's ways of doing things. Yeah, we're just literally in tune with the divine. We're just extremely rare. Like I said, I'm not the only one that speaks the reality. There's others like me in the world. I don't know who they are, but they exist. They're the same as me. So, what we all have in common is that we're meant to enlighten those who are meant to be enlightened. That's all I can say. We play a part in them being enlightened. You understand? We're not. You understand? Like the one that knows everything is inside you. That's right. So think of me as just a guide that's pointing you towards that side of you that you don't really pay attention to. The dark within yourself, the knowing of everything. The only way to know the truth, the only way to be enlightened, the only way to be aware is that you must think for yourself. You must be aware. That's all I can say. I'm just doing my part as being a guide. I have my own aware. And all I'm doing is just sharing the awareness. That's all I'm doing. So understand. So don't think of me as someone who's so cool. Or don't rely on me as a human. Just know I'm just guiding you towards that part of you within yourself that most people don't pay attention to. So, okay? Well, that's the end of this video. Peace.